Hello, you're back with Dave and Tim at the Single Malt Review as we begin our foray, our sojourn through Australasian whisky with one of many quite new and extremely innovative distilleries.
Yes, indeed. This is first on the docket for what will probably be arguably a year-long excursion into the wildlands of Australian distilling, because the more I look into it, the bigger it seems to get. There is a lot of tremendously exciting distilling going on all throughout Australasia, but the spotlight this year from us is going to be on Australia itself, and there is some really magical stuff being produced. But first up, largely because they were the ones I emailed first, they have been extremely good to send us some of their incredibly exciting produce here. The first of which, from Archie Rose, it is their single malt whisky. And if there was ever a label that didn't give everything away, that was the one. But we're going to get into that. First off, though, I really need to point out just the presentation on this. It's something quite unlike anything we're used to. It's in this incredible hexagonal box, or is that a pentagon? I'm never sure.
It's a hexagon.
That's safe on a hexagon on that one. It's a really, really pretty striking box. I think it walks a very fine line between something that's very, very striking and maybe with something 1 foot into the pretension zone. But I think it manages it well, and it does look just stunning.
Now, Archie Rose have been distilling in Sydney since 2014. They produce all sorts: rum, vodka, whiskey, gin, I believe, possibly more besides.
They do all sorts. They are an equal opportunity distilling, and that is for sure.
With malt and rye whiskey in abundance.
But of everything they produce, and we will have at least one other of their wee bits of output here, this is the most striking and it is the most strange. I'll give you a wee look at the bottle here. This is, you can see the colour there, that's a pretty stonkingly dark whiskey going on there.
Is like Indian whiskey, Australian whiskey also matures very rapidly due to the incredibly warm climate. It means not a lot of age statement whiskey, but doesn't need an age statement. It's going to soak up that cask character quickly, which also means the distillers have lots of room to innovate and experiment. It doesn't take a decade or two to achieve a result, which means that in both countries you get some truly magnificently experimental wild whiskey rides, just trying new things and just having the courage to just commit to something completely newfangled.
It's a whiskey time machine, that's for sure. But as far as wild whiskey rides go, this one really does stand entirely alone. One of the things I really try to do on this channel when we're summarising whiskies, when we're talking about whiskies, is to compare them to other whiskies, because it's such a... Of everything you can tell someone about a whiskey, comparing it to something that they have already tried or might have is probably the most useful thing you can do. That is not going to happen for this whiskey, because this is something really, really individual.
You'd think, like, how can a single malt whiskey be so unique, so standalone?
And what they've done is really redefined what it means to be a single malt whiskey, which the official definition is that it is a 100% barley malt distilled whiskey from the same distillery, from an individual distillery. So that certainly ticks the major boxes here. But then, what we've got here is a mash bill, and that's already gone a bit weird. Mash bills, that's something you see on bourbon, things that use a blend of grains, but we don't have a blend of grains here, we have a blend of different types of malts. And it's something that might make a really delicious beer by the sound of it here. We have pale crystal malt, aromatic roasted chocolate malt, peated and amber malts. We've got malts that have been produced in a completely different way, and malts that were never destined for distilling under normal circumstances. So this is something that's been produced in what must be both a painstaking way, because the distilling malt is used for a reason. Distilling malt is used because you get a very, very high efficiency, you get a very good conversion, you get the more sugar, the more alcohol out of your grain, the less protein. And in
less time as well. With these brewing malts, you need to leave them longer to get a stronger product.
So this is a real passion project by the distilling team here, and what we've got, as we will do our very best to describe, is something really, really very unique. In fact, I haven't given myself enough here. I need more. I need more just to do the explanation. There we go. That's a proper pour in there.
So maturation involves a variety of casks, primarily Apera, which would have previously been known as Australian sherry. So it's fortified Australian wine in the sherry style. Apera being a shortening of aperitif.
And the colour we're getting in here is
it is magnificent.
Astonishing.
It's a very deep orangey brown.
And that is really where the similarities to conventional malt whiskey end, because the expressiveness of these different types of malts used is immediate, and it's quite profound, and it's only going to get more immediate as we get further in. But without water on the nose, there's just so much going on.
There is espresso, there's other black coffee, there's orange oil.
It's a very deep nose.
It is huge.
It is down here, whereas, say, a very light-bodied whiskey, an Ochroisk, a Glenfiddich, that might be up here with its light, lilting honey and floral flavours. This one's down here. It's got a real grainy heft to it.
It is evocative of strong dark beer as well. I like a really good toasty stout or slightly lighter porter.
But for the hops, you could have made beer out of the wash of this stuff. It's a real ale kind of a thing going on.
The peated malt would be a bit challenging. Well, we've had peated beer before, so not.
Scotch ale gets away with it. It can be done, and there isn't a hugely overriding amount of peat here. There is a thread of smoke. I don't think it's in any way the dominant feature.
The rest of it is all those other beer malts.
But yeah, we have coffee, dark chocolate. Yeah, chocolate-covered coffee bean is what is resolving in my mind on this nose. It's really the theme here. The chocolate and the coffee come through hugely, and I can only assume they were always there in the spirit, coming from these super expressive malts. So on the palate. And that's where it goes to a completely unknown place.
Yeah. There is very strong cold brew coffee and espresso again. More of those rich orange and oily citrus characters.
There's there's a 90% dark chocolate in here. No, there's 90% cocoa. Not 90% anything else. There's a really, really dry dark chocolate. There's black coffee. There is a lot of wood influence, but the spirit character is so strong that when you would normally get much more of a sort of a sherry bomb kind of a thing when you did a majority maturation in effectively X sherry casks, there is far less of an oak dominance here. But the overriding aspect here is this deep dark flavour, and it's got there's a real crunch to it.
Yeah, it is a very almost, for something that's entirely liquid, it is very chewy. It's a real mouthful.
Just imagine grabbing some malted grain that was destined to be milled and turned into some sort of beer or other, and just having a big old crunch down that. That is very evocative of what this one is doing. And it's so unlike Scotch examples. It's so unlike conventional examples that I really, really am excited by what they're doing here, because I think they have discovered a way of introducing flavour and character to a whiskey that doesn't require age, because these are spirit-born flavours taking character from the grain. This flavour, this crunch, this coffee and dark chocolate, they were very likely in the spirit from its birth. And the white spirit probably carried these interesting flavours.
So clearly been some quite rapid cask maturation, as you're going to get in Sydney, and from that spectacular colour and from the very active casks that they've used. But so much of the flavour has to come from the malt, and it is evoking some rich stout and porter beer flavours.
So I think scoring this is the only thing that makes sense now. We can, like I say, we could try and we could talk our faces off trying to describe this one, and we still wouldn't be getting across the individuality of what we've got here, which I think speaks for the quality and character of what we're actually drinking. But scores wise, this is 89 for me. It's just it is indescribable. It's not necessarily indescribably good. It's not the greatest whiskey I'm ever going to taste, but it probably is the most individual whiskey I'm going to taste, at least this year. It is so stunningly itself.
Well, in their less than a decade in the business, Archie Rose have already been winning awards internationally for their whiskey and other spirits, and it's all well deserved. And I think what we've got here, this is going to be one of my top picks for the year. I'm quite confident saying that. We're recording this in early February 2022, And this is all really like nothing I've tried. It is single malt whiskey. It's malted barley, distilled, etc. The usual. But it has... I don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating here, but I think this does redefine what malt whiskey can be. And if you're an aficionado or simply a curious amateur, like I generally am, honestly, you'd be doing yourself a big favour to seek it out and get some.
Yeah.
It could be hard to source internationally, but it's competitively priced and delivers a really profound whiskey experience. Did I even give my score then? Or was I building up to it? Anyway, 92 points from me.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
So I went off on a bit, and
it's easy to do. This one, it starts a new page.
Yeah.
In the big book of, I can't believe this is malt whiskey.
So what can whiskey be? This is asking the question and answering it.
It's interesting. It's compelling, and we're going to follow it up with a really conventional, absolutely like masterclass on this is how you do it, conventional style of rye whiskey. So from one extreme to the other, Archie Rose has got it all. So thank you to the team over there for furnishing us with some samples here. We would not be able to do this sort of thing if we had to go and shell out for everything. We'd just be, we'd be poorer men than we are. So cheers for that, and good luck in the new year. I hope everything is steaming along for the distilling schedule. I'm sure it is. So Slanger, and we will be right back with a bit more from Archie Rose, and then way more from the country of goddamned Australia.
Oh yeah.
They've got heaps. Alrighty, stick around.